Hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head football coach at the Lamar Vikings, Billy Skinner. Coach Skinner, how are you today?
Man, I'm just so excited to be back for another season. Ready to get going.
I hear you. I've been waiting for high school football, I think, since about November last year.
Yes, agreed, 100%.
It's awesome stuff. Hey, I just want to make before we kind of get diving into too much stuff. I actually am in Odessa this for a couple of days, and they mentioned on the news last night, and a lot of people, especially that were around kind of for the Friday Night Lights days. Coach Gary Gaines, the previous coach of not only Odessa Permian but coached in San Angelo, Abilene Christian, some other places, passed away yesterday at the age of 73. And I just thought it's worth mentioning. He's a huge name in high school football around Texas. He was the coach at the time of the Friday Night Lights book and the movie and all that. And just thought it'd be nice for us to pay a little tribute to him. A lot of people know that name.
Yep, no doubt about it. And he's one that, again, that we've all read the book and seen the movies and all of that, but just an outstanding dude and definitely a loss for the high school football community.
Well, definitely. So thanks for taking a moment there to honor him. Well, Coach, let's dive into our stuff. And first, I want to ask, how did two-a-days go recently?
You know, I would say if we asked our kids, they would say it was pretty tough.
Good.
Last year, I told them we were, and just lack of better words, we were soft. We did not finish games strong enough. Didn't start strong enough. And so, we kind of catch our rhythm in the second and third quarter and then fizzle out in the fourth. And so one of the things that we've done this year is we've put a premium on conditioning and just, we were really, really lucky and fortunate. We were able to hire a head strength and conditioning coordinator, a guy named Sam Lackey, who's coming to us from Fresno State. And so
Wow.
He came in. Yes, we were, again, our kids, I don't think they understand how lucky they are just with the facilities and filling the facilities with guys like Sam, who will come in and knows exactly what he's talking about and has put us through some really good conditioning stuff and making sure that we're going to be able to finish games this year. And that was really an emphasis for us in two-a-days. And I'm really proud of the kids because they responded well to it. Another really exciting part of the two-a-days, we went at 5:30 in the morning again, and we went with just freshmen for that first week. And I probably went back and forth about 642 times. Should we keep it at 5:30? Should I push it to 9 a.m.? I was just, they're freshmen, they're squirrely. There's no way they're going to show up, right? And the first day we get about 55 on the first day. And then the next day we get 57. And then on Wednesday, it's supposed to dip. Like that's just the rule. Day 3, your numbers dip. That's just how it goes. And Wednesday we break the 60 barrier. And so, wow. I mean, the kids they're showing up. They're working really, really hard. And it's almost like they don't know any better. They're just going to come in and do the work. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about our freshman group and just the fact that they're showing up every single day ready to work.
Well, that's great, Coach. And that kind of ties into the next question I wanted to ask or want to ask and will ask. So what's the enthusiasm level among the players, coaches, and families? Because I know it involves all three of those at least.
No doubt. And I think there's a lot of excitement. There's a little bit of a buzz. We've been here for a year now, so we're a little bit more ingrained in our system, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, or just our culture, and I think Laban DeLay did a fantastic job of building a culture, but we had to come in and kind of put our stamp on it and do it how we do it. And so it's exciting to see the kids excited about it. It's really exciting to see the parents excited about it. Our parent meeting might have been the largest parent meeting I've ever seen here. Just that they're showing up. They're very, again, they're excited about what we're doing, and they're excited about the love and service that we're going to provide for their kids. And, I think the reason why is we have really put a premium on being authentic. And so they're going to hear good, bad, ugly. We're going to be extremely honest with them, but we're going to communicate with them and we're going to talk to them, and they're going to know exactly where their kiddos are at. And so parents are excited, kids are excited, coaches are fired up, can't wait to get going. And so it's been a lot of fun around here.
Well, good. And you mentioned being authentic and giving honest, direct feedback. That's important for these boys evolving into young men. Some of them are young men. There's that
Yep.
whole evolution, freshmen to seniors, but that gets them ready for the real world. And like
No
you
doubt.
always talk about, other coaches talk about in the different sports stuff, y'all aren't just preparing them to play football. Y'all are preparing them for the real world and all the aspects of it. So I think that's great. And it's probably eye-opening for some parents sometimes to get some of that direct feedback
For
that,
sure.
little Johnny might not be the NFL star, but hey, but he has potential and he might work his way to get there. So
No doubt. And we've got great parents who embrace and accept that feedback, and they do a good job because they will come and meet with us, and they show up and support their kiddos. They're at practices, they're at our scrimmages. I mean, I'm thrilled to
good.
death with everything going on around here.
That level of support is awesome. So speaking of all this, am I correct? There's two freshman teams and one JV team this season.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Now we're probably about 6 or 7 guys away from making a second JV team. We're right on the cusp, and that's a
Okay.
goal for ours in the next 2 or 3 years, is to have two freshmen, possibly a third freshman at some point in the
Wow.
future, and then have two JV teams. But we want to get as many Vikes as we can through here and into our system and into our program, and not just a how many football players can we touch, but how many young men's lives can we change. And so if they're here with us, then we can sprinkle the program on them, and that's the point of all of this.
So, okay. So just kind of for people that may be curious, myself included, the fact that there's only one JV team this season is not a symbol or whatever indicative of a waning enthusiasm level. You're right there on that cusp and you have two freshman teams. So there's nothing to be concerned about in terms of future, right?
That's correct. And
Good. Okay.
I mean, I felt like we were ahead of schedule going into fall camp, and we felt very confident we were going to have the second JV team, which would have been a year ahead of the schedule that I kind of put in
Okay.
place when I got here. And then we had a couple of, just there's a couple of positions that we can't go into a game with only a certain amount. And so who knows, maybe we get a couple of move-ins this week, and um, those numbers get bumped up and we'll have two.
Cool. Well, I like the fact you don't want to just quote have two JV teams, but you care about the program and you care about the boys and young men that are in the program. So that's
For sure.
doing it right, doing it right.
Yes, sir.
So, well, so speaking of all these types of things and doing it right, can you let us know how the scrimmages went last Thursday night? I was not able to be there. I was up in Arkansas helping get my younger son David ready for his sophomore year of college and that kind of stuff. And by the way, all of y'all have had impacts on both of my sons in the various sports they played at Lamar, and so much so that David's continuing his baseball career into college and having
Oh,
fun. But
love it.
just want to give y'all a plug for the impacts y'all have. I know not only on my two sons, but others. So back to the real question, how'd the scrimmages go last Thursday night?
The first word that comes to mind for all levels of freshman, JV, and varsity, it was physical.
Okay.
Saxey had a big group. They had a large offensive line on all levels, and so they came out swinging. Extremely proud of our kids because they came back swinging, and so it was
Good.
one of those deals where um, for some of them, that's their first little taste of high school football. For others, it's their first taste of JV football, and for others, it's their first taste of varsity. And that's a heck of a taste, And so it was extremely physical, but our kids didn't back down
Good.
1 inch, and I loved every second of it. It's the same scrappy Lamar Vikings that I think you're used to seeing, with a little more discipline on our end, a little more explosiveness on both sides. And so I think it went really well. I'm extremely pleased with the physicality that our team saw and then played with, and then kind of almost upped it a little bit as the scrimmage went on. So went really well. We had some kids who, a guy like Derek Bledsoe, we knew he was going to have a big year, and he touches the ball 10 times for 160 something yards.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monty Williams, the big sophomore outside receiver, he goes and makes some incredible catches. He touches the ball quite a bit. Sophomore like Jesse Little, who's had a little bit of a quiet fall camp. He's just kind of getting acclimated to varsity football, and then he touches the ball 2 times, and I look over at our offense coordinator, Coach Williamson, and I'm like, God, he could play too. So, there's a lot to be excited about, just from watching the scrimmage and from what these guys are doing in fall camp. And so, I'm ready to get rolling, man.
Excellent. Well, that's a lot of good momentum, it sounds like already, and getting those guys ready, and it, like you said, against a tough physical Saxy team, which kind of segues into, looking ahead for this week. The season opens at Keller Timber Creek at Keller ISD Stadium, and they're tough competition. And you, as the other coaches have done in the past, y'all like to schedule, top-notch teams pre-district to get the players ready for district and beyond into the playoffs. This is no exception. What are you expecting from Timber Creek on Friday night, and what are y'all doing, as much as you want to tell us without giving away game plan, to prepare?
Right. So no, you're exactly right about scheduling teams, and there being a method to scheduling those teams. So the team we're playing this week, they like to throw the ball around the yard a little bit, and they've got about 9 or 10 receivers that can play varsity football anywhere in the Metroplex. And so it's going to be a great challenge for our defensive front, an opportunity to try and go and get the quarterback, and for our back end to cover some of the premier receivers in the DFW in the state of Texas. I think they're going to be extremely well coached. I think Marshall Williams does a great job over there in Keller at Timber Creek with his crew. And so we know that we've got to come and play clean. I think the physicality that we're taking out of the scrimmage, if we apply that to this game, it's going to be very positive for us. And so they've been physical practices. Yesterday was physical. Today's going to be physical. And so our plan is to kind of bring a punch, start a lot faster and finish a lot stronger.
Cool. You mentioned something there. The practices have been physical since especially since the scrimmage. How is there a percent, like, if 100% is full game kind of level physicality, is there a percent in practice y'all kind of aim for, go to? Just one, you want to get the guys ready for game stuff, but you don't want to injure anyone unnecessarily. Right. 50, 75, 80%, 100%. Does that make sense to ask it?
No, for sure. And Monday for us is a teach day. And so it shouldn't be as physical maybe as it was yesterday. But Monday is an install teach day. And so you're probably going at about 65 to 70% speed, because you're learning the game plan. Here's who you're playing. Here's what we're going to do and execute against them. And then we start doing small reps. Today, Tuesday, it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit cleaner. It's one of those where we're going to ramp it up. We'll do some what we call good on good, varsity one's offense versus varsity two's defense. And anytime those two groups are going, it's 107%. I mean, that's the expectation. So, just we want to give each other a good look. We want to have those physical moments, but we go really, really hard there. And then when we're going against our scout teams, or our attack teams, as we call them here, then it probably goes to about 85%, just because our attack teams do a great job, but they are looking at a card, seeing a play for the first time, and then they're trying to execute it. So they're moving a little bit slower defensively. We're just trying to get our guys to move in the right direction and key what they can off of that attack team offense. So when we're going good on good, it's very, very high intensity. When we're going against attack teams on Tuesday, it's higher than it was Monday. Wednesday's a lot cleaner. We do something here called No Sweat Wednesday. So we don't even put full pads on. We'll just be in helmets. We'll do some pass hole stuff and just helmets. And when we're doing that, that's high tempo. Obviously, we don't take each other to the ground or anything crazy like that. But I think what's different for us is on Thursday, we do what we call a thump practice, good on good offense, varsity offense versus varsity defense. And the key to that is, one, I want us hitting the day before the game, but two, we should be very clean. Everybody should know exactly where we're going. Everybody should know the game plan, feel the game plan, and it's an opportunity to execute the game plan at 100% speed against the offense and against the defense. And our guys understand our standard of safe practice, where you'll rarely see our kids take one another to the ground. That's one of the most impressive things when you watch an NFL practice, is how physical it is and how nobody ever touches the ground. And so we obviously try to model after that. We're not professionals, but we do try to play at a very high speed. but also understand, hey, when I'm in this position against a guy on my team, I'm not pulling him from behind. I'm not tackling him from behind, but we'll teach them how to tackle from behind
In
safely
game.
and all of those things. Yeah. So that's what Thursdays look like. And then Friday, it's time to put it all
Game
together
day.
and play at 107% speed.
All right. Is there something key about 107%? Because a lot of people say 110%, but
Yeah.
I've noticed you said 107.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say that's special about 107 for some
Man,
reason?
there's nobody that I ever saw that practiced harder than Shane Buechele when he was here. He was number 7 when he was here.
Oh,
And so, and just from the way he put his shoulder pads and helmets on and sprinted out to practice every day from sophomore to junior to senior year. That dude just always went hard. And you would think that quarterbacks can kind of take it easy, and that dude never took it easy. So we want to give 107% because that's
so
what Shane always gave.
that ties into his jersey number.
Yep, that's right.
Well, thanks for explaining that. That's really cool. I love all these kind of things that do that. So tell me if this is a silly analogy. I have 2 dogs, one's 75 pounds, one's 25 pounds. They wrestle and play. And sometimes I feel bad. The big one just has the little one pinned and they're nipping and biting. Once in a while, the little one or the big one might yelp out. And that's when they know okay, I've hit that line. Anything like that with the practice and full speed and looking out for each other as players and not going too far, or is that just a silly analogy?
No, you're never going to hear a kid do that. You're going to hear the coaches do that. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you'll hear Coach Williamson, stay up, get up off the ground.
Okay, all right. So the coaches yelp, not the players.
That's the yelp right there. Yeah, you've reached the yelp point when you hear somebody else stay up. So
all right, so now we've learned about 107% and the coaches yelp point.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's shift over and talk Booster Club for just a little bit. We mention this almost every week during the seasons when we talk, but let's start off at the beginning of the season. Just say something about the value of the Booster Club and what are some of the ways that you really need families and friends to get involved.
Yes. So it's the Booster Club it's really exciting. So we had a board meeting the other day, and then after our board meeting, we had what were called committee meetings. And so now it's growing to a point where we've got committees and subcommittees and different people who are responsible for different pieces of the organization. And so just to see it growing how it is awesome. It's exciting. We want as many members as we can. I always heard this from Brian Stein, who was our Booster Club president last year. He said, many hands make light work. And so there are some people in our Booster Club who do so much work for our kids. And I mean, yesterday, Garrett Carey was here to pick up some hats and drop some things off. And Darnelius Robinson is always coming by. And Jeremy Austin. I mean, I think Jeremy Austin and I share this office. He's up here a lot helping us out and dropping stuff off. And so I love having that help. It always helps to have more people who can do that and give time so that those guys, because they have jobs too. I mean, they have jobs that are not Booster Club president, Booster Club treasurer, and things like that. So any help that we can get, we obviously are very excited about. And again, I've got a leadership team and a board that I think is second to none in the state of Texas. They do a great job of taking care of the coaches and taking care of the kids.
Well, it sounds like with the expansion of committees, subcommittees, and so on, it is truly getting where there's a lot of people doing a little each instead of a few people doing a whole lot. That's really good because, again, that just says a lot about the overall support for the program, you as the head coach and the other coaches and the players, of course. That's really a good thing to hear.
Exciting times.
Awesome. Well, so let's recap the schedule for this week. JV is at home on Thursday night with a 5:30 game, correct?
That is correct.
And I say 5:30 game. It's one game at 5:30. I don't want people to think it starts at 5:31.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
This is live. We're not going to do a second take on this show.
There we go.
And then the freshman 2 games at is it at KISD Stadium or is it at Timber Creek High School?
So it's going to be at Timber Creek High School.
Okay.
2 games at 5:30. The freshman gold team will play, and then at 7:00, the freshman Navy team will play. One important note for anybody going to the freshman games or the varsity game this year is Keller ISD does online tickets only. And so I've shared that link I've shared that link on Sports U, and I'll also share that link via Twitter and Instagram on game days. But they only do online tickets, so don't show up with cash, or you're going to be very upset.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Well, money talks, or no, money doesn't talk, but
The money does
online
not talk anymore.
credit
I had
cards
cash the
do.
other day and took
Yeah,
it to the store, and like none of us really knew what to
what to
do.
do
And
with it.
they gave me change back, and I was like, what do I do with this? So I get it.
Yep, yep, I understand completely. And then, of course, Friday night, 7 o'clock, varsity kicks off the season at Keller ISD Stadium against Timber Creek High School.
That is correct.
Excellent. Well, Coach, is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off for today?
Well, the normal shameless plug for Gatorades. We are
Okay.
accepting Gatorade donations. One of the things that's cool that we do here at Lamar is we make sure that every single one of our football players at the end of their game, they get a cold Gatorade. And it's a small thing, and you think, hey, not a huge deal, but coming off that field and not seeing those Gatorades, that could be demoralizing for some of these guys. They
Sure.
really look forward to it. And so if you want to donate, you can bring a case up to the MAC, knock on that front door. We always make sure everything's locked downstairs. So knock on that front door or send me a message, and I'll come down and accept it. But these Gatorades, they go to the kiddos after games, and it really, I think it's something they look forward to.
Big boy version of the juice pouches.
That's right. Hey, you're exactly right. I bet you if you brought some juice pouches, our kids would be all over those too.
So on the Gatorades, just for consistency, do y'all like the 20 ounce, or is there a certain size y'all look for in the cases of Gatorade?
Yeah, so we're looking for the 20 ounce, but we're not going to turn our nose up to anything. Gatorade is delicious, no matter what the size is.
Sounds good. Any flavors? Just all the flavors mixed?
Hey, that's the great thing about a team, is that so many different flavors in that locker room. That's right.
Okay.
Somebody's going to like something.
That sounds good. Well, Coach, sure appreciate you as always making time for this. And we look forward to more of these during the season, and looking forward to a great kickoff to the season this Thursday and Friday nights for all three levels of the teams. So until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.